I caught my husband cheating with my own sister. I divorced him and cut off my family. The night I found out my husband was cheating with my sister, I was standing in the kitchen scrolling through my phone, half listening to my 4-year-old sing to herself in the next room. My husband, Eric, had texted an hour earlier. Running late, quick drink with a coworker, don't wait up. The baby monitor app sent a quiet notification. Motion detected, living room camera. I opened it, expecting to see my daughter rolling off the couch again. Instead, I saw my front door open. Eric walked in. Behind him was my sister, Jenna. Laughing. She kicked off her shoes like she'd done it 1,000 times. He put his hand on the small of her back the way he used to do with me and said, "We have about an hour." She leaned up and kissed him. In my living room. Under my family sign from Hobby Lobby. I didn't scream. I didn't smash the baby monitor or drive straight into the house like a movie scene. I made one small change. I hit record on the camera, set my phone down, walked into my daughter's room and read her a bedtime story with a calm voice, while silently deciding that everyone in that video was leaving my life. At that point, I still thought the hardest part would be divorcing my husband and mourning my sister. I had no idea my own parents would look at that footage and say, "Do you really have to ruin the family over one mistake?" My name is Rachel. I'm 32, and I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania where everyone knows everyone's business and somehow manages to get it wrong anyway. I married Eric when I was 25. He was my high school lab partner, prom date, college study buddy, we'll make it long-distance boyfriend. We did the whole cliché, starter apartment, gradually nicer furniture. Duh. Then a baby, our daughter Lily. My younger sister, Jenna, is 2 years behind me. When we were kids, she was the loud one, pretty one who could cry and get out of chores. I was the responsible one, the helper, the one my parents leaned on when they fought. My parents' whole philosophy was, family first, no matter what. We don't air our dirty laundry, we forgive each other. In practice, that meant, my mom forgave my dad for disappearing to the bar most nights. My dad forgave my mom for yelling and breaking plates sometimes. They both forgave Jenna for everything. Me? I was expected to forgive and forget faster than anyone. Jenna borrowed my clothes without asking and stained them? She's just a kid, let it go. Dad forgot to pick me up from practice because he was at the bar? He works hard, don't be so dramatic. If you grew up like that, you know what I mean. Family first can be code for, no matter how much they hurt you, you swallow it. Jenna loved Eric from the beginning. Not in a creepy way at first. More like, oh my god, my sister snagged the one decent guy from this town. You're my favorite brother-in-law already. She'd flop on our couch, feet in his lap, watching Netflix with us. I'd roll my eyes and say, "Get your toes off my man," and she'd laugh and move them. If you'd told me then that one day I'd be replaying that memory wondering if it was a sign, I would have thought you were sick. We had Lily 4 years into our marriage. Sleep disappeared. Laundry multiplied. Life got small and full and sticky. Eric was a good dad. He did. Midnight bottles. Doctor visits. Silly dances that made Lily shriek. We fought about normal stuff. Who was more tired? Who cleaned more? Money. Nothing that made me think he'd blow up our life. Jenna, meanwhile, floated in and out. She'd show up for birthdays, post selfies with Lily captioned, "Auntie's girl," disappear for months when she had a new boyfriend. My parents always made excuses. "She's free-spirited," Mom would say. "You're the rock, she's the wave," Dad would add, like that was supposed to be a compliment. I rolled my eyes and kept being the rock. Rocks don't expect waves to drown them. Maybe that was my mistake. Looking back, there were signs. You always say that after. At the time, they looked like slightly too long hugs. Inside jokes I wasn't part of. My husband's phone lighting up with her name more than made sense. It started after my dad had a minor heart attack. Suddenly, Jenna was at our parents' house more. So were we. We'd all gather in the living room. Eric would help Dad with the TV remote. Mom would fuss in the kitchen. Jenna would curl up in the armchair, dramatic, talking about how scared she'd been. One night, I came back from putting Lily down in the guest room and heard Jenna laughing in the kitchen. I paused. Pit stop for gossip, right? I overheard. "Jenna, you're the only one who can fix that old sink, Eric. Rachel got lucky." Eric, chuckling, "I don't know about lucky, but yeah, I'm the resident handyman." Jenna, "Sure, she's got the handyman and the dad bod. Some girls really win." It sounded borderline flirty but plausibly joking. I walked in. "Oh, did we interrupt your rom-com?" I said lightly. They both jumped a little. Jenna threw her arm around my shoulders. "Relax," she said. "Your man's not my type. I like my guys less domesticated." Eric smiled, but it looked strained. I stored that away in the mental file of weird things I'll pretend didn't bother me because I don't want to be called jealous. Another time, my mom said, "Isn't it funny how Jenna and Eric text more than you and Eric? They're always joking." She meant it as a compliment. As in, your husband is in the family. I laughed. "At least someone thinks she's funny," I said. Inside, something pinched. I told myself it was good they got along. Less drama at family events. One afternoon, Eric left his phone on the table while he grabbed Lily from her nap. A notification popped up from Jenna. Can't wait to tell you later you'll die. Harmless, right? Except I'd had a long day. Except I was tired of being the repository for grocery lists and daycare emails while he got memes and secrets. That night, when he was in the shower, I did the thing you're not supposed to do if you want to keep your illusions. I opened their thread. Most of it was family jokes, memes, gossip about our parents. But interspersed were things that made my stomach drop. Jenna, you really are the only sane one in that house, lol. Eric, don't tell Rach, she still thinks you're the drama queen. Jenna, she says that, but she knows she needs me. Eric, yeah, you keep us entertained. Later. Jenna, wish I had what you two have. Eric, it's not all roses. Jenna, at least you're not single at 29 listening to mom compare you to your perfect sister. That last one stung on multiple levels. He responded, Eric, you're not less than her, don't let them make you feel that way. Objectively, that's a kind thing to say. Objectively, if it had stopped there, I might have been grateful. But it didn't. Jenna, easy for you to say from your little family bubble. Eric, grass isn't greener, it's just different. Jenna, still, must be nice to have someone. Eric, you'll find someone. Jenna, already did, he just doesn't know it. I stared at that last message. He hadn't responded. 3 dots had appeared. Disappeared. He'd left it hanging. I confronted him that night. Do you think it's appropriate that my sister is telling you she already found someone in the middle of a conversation about how lonely she is? I asked. He looked surprised. Then guilty. You went through my phone? He deflected. You're deflecting, I said. He sighed. It's just how she talks, he said. You know Jenna, everything's a half joke, I ignore it. Do you tell her to back off? I pressed. I don't feed it, he said. Isn't that the same thing? It's not. You know it. He knew it. But I was tired. Working. Parenting. Trying to remember the last time we'd had sex when I wasn't half asleep. I didn't have energy to blow up over every boundary blur. So I said, please shut it down next time. I don't want to be in some weird emotional triangle. He promised he would. If you're shouting at the screen right now, that was your sign. You're not wrong. I saw the sign. I just squinted at it until it blurred into something I could live with. Because the alternative, believing my husband and my sister might actually go there, was too awful to think. Until thinking it wasn't optional anymore. Because I had video. The living room camera was supposed to be for safety. We installed it when Lily was a toddler, mostly so I could check that she hadn't decided to scale the bookshelves when I was in the bathroom. It had a motion sensor. If something moved when it shouldn't, my phone buzzed. Most of the time it was the dog. Light changes. Lily doing ninja moves instead of napping? That night, it was not the dog. It was my husband and my sister. Timeline. 6:45 p.m. Eric texts, coworker thing, back by 10. 7:10 p.m. I finish dinner with Lily, start bedtime routine. 7:48 p.m. Lily is in her room singing Twinkle Twinkle to a stuffed giraffe. 7:52 p.m. Phone buzzes, motion detected, living room camera. I open the app absent-mindedly. Honestly, I expected to see the dog on the couch. Instead, I saw my front door open. Eric walked in. My first thought was, wow, that was a short coworker thing. Then Jenna stepped in behind him. He closed the door quietly. She laughed at something he said. He turned toward her. She dropped her purse on the console table like she'd done it 100 times. He put his hand on her hip. She stepped into him and kissed him. Not a peck. Not a oops we tripped bump. A full, familiar kiss. In my house. While I was tucking our daughter into bed at my parents' place across town. I know a lot of people would have lost it right then. Driven over. Kide cars. Thrown hands. I froze. It felt like someone had hit pause on my brain. Then a weird, clinical clarity kicked in. If growing up with my mother taught me anything, it was, keep receipts. I hit record. Set my phone on the counter. Walked to Lily's room. Read Goodnight Moon, in a calm, even voice, while my insides turned to lava. Lily fell asleep mid-page. I kissed her forehead. Stepped into my parents' hallway. Took a breath. Opened the live feed again. They were on the couch. Too close. His hand under her hair at the back of her neck, a move I recognized in my bones. I stopped watching. I had enough. I didn't need to see details to know everything that mattered. I texted my parents' old babysitter, now a college student, and asked if she could stay the night with Lily. Paid her extra. Told my parents I wasn't feeling well and needed to rest. Drove home. The whole way, my brain cycled through questions. How long? When did it start? Who else knew? The one question that didn't come up as much as you might think? Why me? Because after a lifetime of being told family forgives each other no matter what, the part of me that still believed in that script knew the answer. I was the one they knew would be asked to swallow it. They were wrong. I pulled into the driveway. Lights on. Their cars both there. Of course. I didn't slam the door when I went in. I didn't throw anything. Just walked into my own living room like a ghost. They were on the couch. Both fully dressed. Too far apart to seem incriminating if I hadn't already seen the way they'd crossed that gap on camera. Jenna jumped up. "Rach," she said, fake shock painted on her face. "You're home early." "Yeah," I said. "Coworker thing wrapped up, I guess." Eric's face went white. I turned the phone screen toward them. Hit play. The air in the room changed. Silence, except for the sound of their own voices and that kiss echoing from my phone. I stopped it after a few seconds. "I'm going to ask this once," I said. "How long has this been going on?" Eric opened his mouth. "Closed it." Jenna swallowed. "It was a mistake," she said. "We were drunk. It just happened." "In my living room on a Tuesday while I was putting your niece to bed, you were so drunk you both forgot where you were?" I asked. "Try again." Eric scrubbed a hand over his face. 3 months, he said hoarsely. My stomach turned. 3 months. Family dinners. Text threads. My asking her to babysit sometimes when he and I needed a date night. "If you were me," I asked quietly, "how many more details would you want, or is that already too many?" They both stared at me. Jenna started crying. "Of course." "I was lonely," she said. "You have everything, husband, kid, house. I'm always the one failing. He made me feel seen." My mother's voice, in my head, murmured. "Here come the variables. Here comes the justification." I shut it down. "This is not about your loneliness," I said. "You had a million options that did not involve my husband. You picked this one." I turned to Eric. "And you had 1,000 options that did not involve my sister," I added. "You picked this one." He looked miserable. "Good. But not good enough." "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean for." "You meant every text, every meetup, every time you didn't shut it down. I cut in. You didn't mean to get caught." Silence. "You can both leave now," I said. "We will figure out logistics in the cold light of day. But tonight, I need you out of my house." Jenna sniffled. "Where am I supposed to go?" she asked. "Mom and Dad's? They'll kill me." "You're 30, I said. "Figure it out." Was that cold? Maybe. Was it kinder than anything she'd just done to me? Absolutely. Eric hesitated. "I'll sleep on the couch," he started. "In whose house?" I asked. "Because it's not this one." That's when he seemed to realize I wasn't playing. He got up. Grabbed his keys. Jenna gathered her purse, still crying. "At least don't say anything in front of Lily," she begged. "Don't make her hate me." I laughed. It came out harsh. "You made that choice yourself," I said. "I'm just the one who has to sit with her when she asks why Uncle Eric and Aunt Jenna aren't coming over anymore." They left. The door closed. The house, which only an hour ago had been their little secret stage, was suddenly mine again. Empty. And somehow still too full. I didn't sleep much that night. Shocked as that. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, the baby monitor app open next to my head. Lily rolled over in her sleep, clutching her stuffed giraffe. I promised her, silently. "I will not let this become your normal." In the morning, I called a lawyer. Her name was Miss Shen. I liked her instantly. She was calm. Efficient. Didn't react when I blurted. "My husband cheated on me with my sister." Except to say, "I'm sorry that happened. Let's talk about your options." We talked. Custody, I wanted joint. He was a good dad, terrible husband. The house, we'd bought it together, we'd likely sell or I'd buy him out. Finance. Then she asked, "Are you planning to involve your family in this process?" I let out a humorless laugh. "They're already involved," I said. "They just don't know it yet." I told my parents that evening. I didn't ease into it. Didn't sandwich it between small talk. We were sitting at their kitchen table. Lily playing with blocks on the floor. "I'm divorcing Eric," I said. "He's been cheating on me with Jenna for 3 months." My mom gasped. My dad's jaw clenched. They both looked at Jenna's empty chair like it might burst into flames. "You're sure?" my mom asked. "You didn't? Misinterpret something?" There it was. The old wound. "No," I said. "I have video." I showed them a short clip. Not the most explicit. Just enough. Them coming in together. Him touching her like a husband. The kiss. My dad swore under his breath. My mom covered her mouth. She looked truly shocked. For about 30 seconds. Then the spin started. "We can fix this," she said. "Therapy, family meetings. It doesn't have to end in divorce." I stared at her. "Fix what exactly?" I asked. "My husband sleeping with my sister? My sister betraying me? The lying? The gaslighting?" "Your marriage," she said. "We don't throw family away over one mistake." "One mistake?" I repeated, voice dangerously calm. "If you got hit by a car 3 months in a row at the same intersection, would you call that one mistake or a pattern?" She flinched. "Rachel, think of Lily," she said. "Do you really want her to grow up in a broken home?" "I'd rather she grow up in 2 honest homes than one big, shiny lie," I said. My dad spoke up then. "No one is saying what they did is okay," he said. "But you've been with Eric a long time, and Jenna is your sister." He said it like it was a trump card. Blood. Shared DNA. Unbreakable. "If I stay, what am I teaching Lily?" I asked. That her mother will eat any level of disrespect as long as it comes from family? That her uncle can be in our house kissing her aunt in one room and reading her bedtime stories in the next? My mom's eyes filled with tears. You're overreacting, she said. Plenty of couples recover from infidelity. With strangers, I said, not with people they have to sit across from at Thanksgiving for the next 40 years. She's your sister, my dad repeated, as if I might have forgotten. She was, I said. Now she's my husband's exo-mistress. Harsh? Yes. True? Also, yes. My parents exchanged a look. The one I'd grown up seeing whenever I expressed a boundary they didn't like. We raised you to be forgiving, my mom said, to understand that people are flawed. You raised me to be a doormat for other people's bad behavior, I replied. I'm unlearning that. They both went quiet. Finally, my dad said, What does Jenna say? I laughed. She says she was lonely, I said. That I have everything and she just wanted to feel loved. She says it just happened, as if she tripped and fell onto him every Tuesday night. My mom closed her eyes. She's always been impulsive, she said. We can talk to her, make her see. This isn't about her seeing anything, I said. I see enough. That's what matters for my choices. Are you going to cut us off too? My dad asked softly. That depends, I said, on whether you keep trying to convince me to sacrifice my sanity for the sake of a family picture. Don't make us choose sides, my mom pleaded. We love you both. You had to choose sides when she chose my husband, I said. You just don't want to say it out loud. They didn't like that. We ended the conversation with them insisting I'd take some time. Me insisting I'd already taken enough. No one hanging up happy. A few days later, the group chat that had always pinged with Sunday dinner at 6. Who's bringing dessert? Look at Lily in her Halloween costume. Lit up with a new message from Jenna. I know everyone is mad at me. I made a mistake, but I'm still your daughter's sister, aunt. Please don't let Rachel turn you all against me. Families forgive. That's what Mom always said. Mom replied with a heart emoji. Dad wrote, We love you both. This is complicated. I read it. Closed my eyes. Felt that old familiar squeeze of family first, you last. Then I did something that would have shocked my teenage self. I left the group chat. No dramatic exit message. No paragraph. Just, you have left the conversation. If you were me, would you have stayed to watch them circle the wagons around the people who hurt you? Or would you have stepped out too? The divorce itself was almost boring. Paperwork. Asset division. Custody schedule. Eric didn't fight me. He admitted fault. He cried. Alot. Said all the things cheating spouses always say. I never stopped loving you. I don't know what I was thinking. It didn't mean anything. I believed he was sorry. I did not believe he was safe. Not for me. I told Miss Chen I wanted 50/50 custody. He is a good dad. The house sold and proceeds split. No contact with Jenna during his parenting time? How enforceable is that last bit? I asked. She shrugged. We can put a clause in the agreement that neither parent will expose the child to known affair partners or individuals who seriously disrupted the marital relationship, she said. Judges sometimes like that, sometimes think it's too specific, but it sends a message. The judge allowed it. On the record, neither parent shall introduce the child to any romantic partner or to the other parent's sibling, Jenna last name, during their custodial time without the other parent's written consent. Jenna was furious. She texted me from a new number. How dare you use Lily as a weapon? She's my niece. I replied once. You did that when you chose to blow up her parents' marriage. This is me keeping her out of your mess. Then I blocked that number too. My parents oscillated between guilt, defensiveness, quiet. They still invited me to holidays. Always with a caveat. Christmas. Will you come? We'll seat you and Jenna separately. Easter. Can't you both be adults for Lily's sake? I said no. Every time. At first it hurt. Missing traditions. Watching other people's big family pictures online. But slowly, new traditions formed. Lily and I made our own Easter egg hunt in the park. Baked lopsided Christmas cookies in my smaller, quieter kitchen. Had Taco Thursdays instead of Sunday roast with a side of walking on eggshells. Eric eventually moved 2 towns over. He and Jenna tried to keep whatever they had alive for a while. I know this because small towns are nosy. And because, 6 months after the divorce, my cousin texted me. Spotted Eric and Jenna arguing outside the bar. She was screaming, "You ruined everything and didn't even choose me." Drama. Apparently, he couldn't handle the social fallout of actually being with her. Apparently, she hadn't counted on going from fun secret to woman who slept with her sister's husband and still didn't get the guy. I'd be lying if I said that didn't give me a small, petty bit of satisfaction. Karma doesn't always show up on schedule. But when it does, it's pointed. Do I feel sorry for her? Sometimes. In the way you feel sorry for someone who keeps touching a hot stove and acting surprised they got burned. Do I want her in my life? No. Not as my sister. Not as my daughter's aunt. Lily is 6 now. She knows Daddy and Mommy live in different houses. She knows Aunt Jenna doesn't come over. She does not know why. Not yet. When she's older, I'll tell her an age-appropriate version. Aunt Jenna made choices that broke trust. It's okay to love people and still not let them hurt you. For now, when she asks, do I have any other aunties? E say, you have lots of grown-ups who love you, Aunt Mia, Aunt Joy, Grandpa's girlfriend, my friend Tara. Some aunties are blood, some are chosen. And that's true. She's not missing out on love. She's missing out on drama. I can live with that. I moved out of our old house and into a little rented bungalow. It has a weird slanted floor in the hallway, old kitchen cabinets, a backyard big enough for a plastic slide, and a cheap inflatable pool. It is quiet. Mine. No one is sneaking my sister through that door. No one is calling me dramatic for honoring my own deal breakers. Therapy has been a lot. Untangling. Growing up with family first over everything. Letting that script convince me for years that I had to forgive anything they did. Learning that forgiveness and access are not the same thing. My therapist said something early on that I wrote down and stuck on my fridge. You are allowed to be the first person in your family who doesn't keep the secret. I look at it whenever a relative sends a guilt-laced text. Your poor sister misses you. Your parents are getting older. One day you'll wish you'd kept the family together. No, I'll wish I'd kept myself together. And I did. If you're in a similar spot, if your partner and a family member betrayed you, and now everyone's chanting, forgive for the sake of the family, here's what I want you to consider. You are part of the family. Your nervous system is part of the family. Your ability to sleep at night is part of the family. If protecting those things ruins the family, maybe it wasn't worth saving in that form. Now, my family looks like me. My daughter. A co-parenting relationship with my ex built on schedules, not lies. Friends who show up. Maybe, one day, a partner who understands that loyalty is not a group project. It's smaller, messier, but honest. When Lily draws family pictures now, they usually have a small house. Me. Here. A lopsided dog. Sometimes a grandparent. Never my sister. Never a man who only stood in that picture because I was told I had to keep him there for the family. And you know what? She smiles when she shows them to me. She doesn't look over her shoulder wondering if someone in the big family is going to be mad. She just says, this is us. And for the first time in my life, us feels like something I chose. Not something I was coerced into keeping. Last weekend, Lily and I were at the grocery store when we bumped into one of my old neighbors from the married life Kuladesic. She glanced around, clearly looking for Eric, then for Jenna, then back at me. So, she said, lowering her voice, is your family okay now? I looked at my daughter comparing cereal boxes like it was the most important decision in the world, her hair in a crooked ponytail I'd done that morning. Yeah, I said, my family's good. She nodded, a little confused, and walked away. Lily picked a box with cartoon unicorns. Can we get this one, she asked. Sure, I said, why that one? Because it's fun, she shrugged. And it's just us tonight, we can eat fun cereal for dinner if we want. She grinned. I laughed. Yeah, I said, we really can. And as we walked out to the car, 2 cereal Hofferdinner people under a gray sky, I realized that for the first time in a long time, my family might be smaller on paper. But it finally fits in my heart.